part 4, not 8, but 4, of this big, epic, long bit of children's classics. Why are they timeless? I've introduced and gave you the list in part 1, and at the end of part 1, I went into Jungle Book. Part 2 was all Jungle Book. Part 3, I went to In Secret Garden, and now part 4, I'm going through A Little Princess. The small sub-collection of this big collection of why these books are classics. And like I pointed in part 3, Jungle Book, Secret Garden, and A Little Princess kind of share this little subculture of India and also of children being of two worlds. Like I said, Jungle Book, it's Mowgli being jungle and man. Secret Garden, India and England. And A Little Princess is also going to be India and England. And as we can see in this shared world of being of two worlds, it's all about India. And I can't help but, what is it about? Well, I don't know that much about India. I don't know much about that subject, but it's amazing how when you go through this list, there's actually these sub lists inside, and you can't help but wonder if this sharedness, this separation of what these books share with compared to other books kind of help. You can't help but wonder if this kind of led to this more timelessness. And with A Little Princess, it is not as deep when it comes to being of two worlds, being of India and England almost. But it's still there. She's still foreign to England itself. She's still foreign to what it is that these English have. And her father, who raised her in India, she kind of sees that, well, let me just go through A Little Princess and do it a little bit more better, because again, I'm unscripted and loving it. And with A Little Princess, her mother is dead, and again, there's this continual theme of death in all three of these books so far. There's another thing they all share, is death. It's kind of, I don't remember if it was at the beginning, but it's kind of mentioned that she has no mom. And she's growing up with her dad, and there's this beautiful, beautiful father-daughter relationship. She is his world. He loves his little girl. And he is, though, part of England more than she is. She's just of India. And him being more of England and English, they have this culture of sending kids off to boarding school. And he thought he wants to fulfill that English wish of sending his daughter, who only knew of India, who only understands India, to England. But again, in A Little Princess, it's not as heavily handed about India, but India is still important to her, because through her struggle, through her turmoil, there's a piece of India that saves her in the end. And that love and relationship she has with India, how she had to deal with this new world of England, of more white people that she has ever seen, these other little girls born of rich families like hers, but her family is better than everyone else. It's not better than everyone else, but it's more financial, and it kind of falls into the formula of, again, this formula is a theme throughout all of this list. Teacher, student, and class. In Secret Garden, there was no class. It was just teacher and student. But here, this one has class, and class is a huge part of the theme of A Little Princess. That in here, there's this, again, in this formula, the student-class relationship formula is our main character, our lead, is going to be a little bit higher in power or in some form against the class. And A Little Princess, She is a lot more stronger and higher than the rest of her peers. Her family's wealth. They are wealthy. Her father is, and so she's on a greater scale. But in A Little Princess, other than Secret Garden, there's more of an antagonist, antagonist, and that is the headmistress of this boarding school. She and her sister, whose names I can't remember, I think that's kind of the flaw for A Little Princess. You don't remember as many characters' names. This Jungle Book, probably the Disney movie may have helped, but still without the movie, you would still know these characters' names. You would still remember them. Jungle Book was the first thing I did in this whole list, and it's the furthest thing I remember, but yet I remember their characters' names. Secret Garden, I remember Mary, I remember Colin. A Little Princess, I remember India. And the sun's shining right now, as you can tell. Here comes the sun. Here's India. And yet that's kind of India is more of a prominent piece in A Little Princess and what she has in relationship with it. Because her father in the books has a friend. While she's away in England and he's staying in India, he and his friend get together and they go into a diamond mine venture to make more money. And the finances get worse. It gets hard and stress happens, and pretty soon the mine's not profiting, and then dad dies. Death is a big theme in this book. She has no relationship with the mother. She lost this beautiful relationship she had with her father. It's gone. And now she's kind of alone, and the headmistress. Again, you can't remember anyone's names. I think this is why A Little Princess is probably not as well as remembered, but still memorable for little girls. And I can kind of see why it's very more aimed at girls, but death is a very prominent thing. She loses a mother, her dad, and girl that she sympathizes with, and this one of her fellow students. She also lost her mother, and she goes, well, hey, I will be a mother to you, kind of showing off that in the student class bit. With this formula I've discovered with her in the class, she's always bigger than them. These two girls both have lost mothers. She says, I'll be your mother, kind of doing a pretend way, but yet she does also want to do it in a relationship way with her, just to have someone to help her, that she can help, and that girl does, and that's how things go from there. And how with her in the class and that relationship, she's kind of, again, she's at a high level, but once the diamond mine is not profitable, it breaks apart from under her. She loses everything. And it kind of shows that this unexpected bit of life is not predictable. You can be on top of the game to be the lowest of low. She ends up working for this school now. She's still the best at French, but other than I'm better than you in French, she's have to be teaching them French. Again, student, teacher, class, formula. And you see that with her, it's more about her and her class relationship more. But she still has to learn, and she learns through her experiences of having everything and having nothing and scrounging about, and her only vestige, her only way to get out is through her imagination, and how she daydreams and pretends. And she still struggles through all of this, but yet in this book, India is kind of like the savior, it feels like, for me. Because a stranger comes in next door, and suddenly after that, she has this hidden angel above her. And this guy is actually Indian, and kind of like an Indian servant. Those are names I cannot pronounce, and I don't want to go there because I will probably rip them apart. But this character who's from India, sees her and she talks and speaks his language, he's just, oh, you understand me, thank you. And she's just, I'm here for you. I'm here, yes, I have a piece of India with me. I lost everything, but yet I still have India. And with that India, and through her struggle, I feel like India is her savior constantly. She struggles, this people move in, that guy helps her. When things get horrible and she loses everything and she ends up being locked up and starving, this guy from India convinces his master and a lawyer to to go into her servants' quarters and make it a small Taj Mahal for her. Whereas now she's no longer starving to now, where she's a lot more happy. They give her these gifts. And you find out the next door neighbor is that said friend that robbed her father, that robbed her of her father, that said, hey, let's go into a diamond mine. And the diamond mine, just, the stress wasn't financial, it wasn't gaining. The father died. But this guy goes, actually, I'm trying to find this man's daughter because the diamond mine in the end proved profitable. It proved good, and now I feel responsible for this girl. And through this Indian, and again, this guy also in England, a man from England, but also from India, kind of pull her out of the squander, and she brings a friend with her as well. And you can't help but say that this is her savior. This is what saves her, is this relationship she has with India. And how there is no kind of teacher in this formula. It's more the lines, well, there's no physical person that is a teacher for her. But a teacher for her is going to be through her experiences, going from high to low to high again, from having it all to suddenly starving. And a friend that she thought was kind of, oh yeah, you're kind of a dunce, but I'll help you, to suddenly that friend, that experience with that friend helped her. Her teacher is her experiences. And when little kids will read this book, they could see the fact that through life, experience, through highs and the lows, that is going to be their teacher. That is going to help them struggle through. And with her, you can help but go, yeah, that's kind of the thing with her. And it's really neat how it doesn't hold back the punches. Death is very more louder in this book. And how that you can't help but go, what? I mean,